I think the NHL is trying to shake things up. They watch right now what's going on in the NBA. They don't know what's going to happen in slam dunk contest. They don't know what's going to happen in the three-point contest. They don't even know who's going to play or actually even show up to the game or just hang out with their wives and their kids on the sidelines. So that's something they watch. You watch baseball right now. The home run derby is the only thing anybody gives a crap about. And then you see what happens to these home run hitters after the home run derby. They can't hit a home run for a significant amount of time. So it hurts a lot of different teams. So baseball's trying to figure out how they can shake things up and make it more interesting. The thing is right now, hockey is the one sport that I think by creating some kind of international competition, it's going to open up the floodgates. It's going to make things stand out. Who doesn't like watching the Olympics? Who doesn't want to see Canada face the United States in a championship game for all the marbles? Who wouldn't want to see Russia in this tournament? Russia has a tremendous amount of talent in the United States. Arguably the best goaltending. Maybe that's why the NHL decided not to put Russia in this tournament, because if they were, they'd have the three best goalies in the world on their team. Take your pick. I mean, I look at the list of players that are going to be playing in this. It's going to be fun to watch. I want to see guys like Matthew Tkachuk and Austin Matthews play. I'd love to see where these teams match up before the Olympics. The Olympics are what, 2 years away?
Uh-huh.
And we're going to get a chance to see
actually.
it. Yeah. Okay. Next year. We're going to actually get a chance to see what talent the United States is going to bring to the forefront. What kind of talent that some of these Canadian young players, I mean, this is Sidney Crosby's last run or hurrah. If next year is the final, next year is the Olympics, that might be his final Olympic appearance as probably the captain of Team Canada. But Canada's got a tremendous amount of talent. You look at Connor McDavid and Kyle McCarr. I've watched him play for Colorado for many, many years. He's one of the more talented speed demon defensemen we've watched. I honestly think this is going to be really, really fun. And bravo to Gary Bettman trying to, kind of switch it up, open up people's eyes to what hockey really is. And to me, hockey is so mistreated by, the professional sports. Why? They don't make as much as the NBA players. They don't make anywhere close to what the NFL and baseball players make. But it's definitely the most fun when you go to a live game and watch these guys try to kill themselves. Trust me, I know. So you look at the talented players that you're going to get a chance to see in this tournament. This is exciting. I am more excited about this tournament than watching the All-Star game and watching the skills competition and watch, you bring in some of these hockey players, and then you're trying to stir things up and make it more interesting when it's not anything interesting. Connor McDavid is the fastest guy in the NHL. If he really wants to race somebody, he's going to beat him every single time. And what had happened last year? He raced and he won. So what more do we need to see? Who's got the hardest shot? Who's more accurate? It's usually the same players. I want to see something interesting. I want to see these guys. These guys are going to actually play. You know why? Because they support their nation. Mm-hmm. They don't want to lose against. You think Team USA wants to lose against Canada? Do you think Finland wants to lose against Sweden or Canada or United States? They don't. They want to compete. They want to beat each other's heads in. They want to take Speedy Petey and shove it up your you-know-what. What do you think, Speedy?
I think the second and third rosters, if there wasn't some out there, could do that. That won't be too hard. I don't think there's an NHL player that's smaller than me that would have any issue doing that. And Wes and I actually were talking about this earlier too, because we were talking about all the different all-star formats that I think the NHL has definitely been the most innovative with over the last few years. But now you're dealing with another international level of intrigue, which definitely brings that rivalry back, especially, like you said, the domestic ones, US and Canada in the North America and in the Scandinavian end with Sweden and Finland. That's going to want these players to have to play more. The lack of effort in all-star games is something that we questioned with the NBA a few weeks ago. And we've questioned in other sports in the past as well, where there's not as an incentive to play. And I think now you're seeing that kind of thing in a tournament style. It's very much like the Olympics. It's 3 games. It's a small sample size. So you're really giving it your all within that 3-game stretch. It's an 8-day tournament. So it's not like you're getting all this long rest and stuff like that either. And they're going to give the intensity all the time. And you mentioned the fighting too. I think there's going to be an element of it too that maybe you don't see in the
How long is this tournament? Is it going to take
today until the 20th?
Until the 20th, yep.
next week.
So that's a long time.
Yeah. So
I mean,
you're dealing with essentially, depending on who advances to the finals, you're dealing with 4 games in 8 days. And that's going to be.
the only thing that scares me here is if somebody gets hurt in this.
Oh, of course. That's the risk
know?
of any of these international tournaments that's going to happen. It's the same thing when the NHL was in the Olympics. They had the breaks, and they haven't had that since 2014 when it was in Russia, oddly enough. And that was before Russia had the whole Olympic scandal. And they had, I think, a couple players got hurt in that tournament. Yeah, going back to the all-star format, though, I think the creative and innovation, I think, is very key from Gary Bettman from what you're seeing. I think we were talking about it, like he's been like the fastest growing commissioner from what he was in the past to where these other commissioners.
No question. It's been the best.
Started to devolve in their sports. Gary Bettman, I think, has definitely made the sport a lot more inclusive, a lot more innovative, and to the international audience. And I think other sports could definitely take this in when this type of format, when you look at, we talk about it all the time all summer with how European the NBA is getting, how international the NBA is getting. Maybe this is an idea for them if it continues to grow at their pace in the future in baseball.
The NBA is never going to copy.
I don't think they're going to. I don't think there's.
Adam Silver's going to go and hang out with LeBron. They're gonna drink some, tequila shots, and he's going to say, LeBron, how do we make this better? He's going to say, you know what? I'm going to have my son jump off a backboard and try to jam a ball. That's going to draw people. That's how it's going to go. That's what he's going to do.
Oh, but by the time LeBron is our hypothetical commissioner, like we predicted in 5 years, his other son will be in it. So it'll be the Bryce Andrade dunk contest competition when nobody else will want to join, and whatever friends that they'll come up with, because we all know if Bronny James and Bryce James are going to get some kind of leverage, they're going to leverage themselves like their father did, and recruit everybody that they wanted to the NBA. And